Lads and ladies, welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're all okay. Hope you're all doing well. And today we're going to be discussing and debating if Tottenham Hotspur can get top four this season. But before we get into the live stream, make sure if you're new here to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button as hard as you possibly can, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, we're going to be discussing, can Tottenham Hotspur still get top four this season? And is top four still somewhat achievable for this season? My answer to you, no, I don't think we can get top four. I want to be positive, but let's be honest here, I don't think we can. And I think it's so disappointing and gutting as this season has started off so positive. You know, we were absolutely dashing the likes of Manchester United, Manchester City. You know, even coming so close to beating the Premier League champions Liverpool. We were absolutely excelling in the Premier League, top of the table. You know, we stunk out the bridge against Chelsea in that 0-0, which was such a positive result. And then since then, we've just bottled it. We've just bottled it with individual errors and individual mistakes, which have come to cost us this league title, which have come to cost us possibly a place in top four this season. Because we started off this season with high ambitions of actually winning the league. No way that's happening anymore. You know, we're 14 points off top. But let's be realistic here. We're only 6 points off top four. So it is achievable if we pick up a good run of form, just like any team. Look at West Ham United. Started off this season awful. Yet since then, they've picked up such a good run of form. And actually now, they're in a place where they're looking likely to qualify for Europe. And fair play to them. You know, fair play to West Ham. I hate giving West Ham credit because they're our rivals, but they've come into this Premier League season and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna prove the doubters wrong. You know, I'm gonna prove the betting men wrong, and I'm actually gonna go out there with David Moyes as our new manager, and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna back him with the players he wants. This board, right? Their board backed David Moyes more than our board have backed Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho wanted 2 new centre halves in the January transfer window. He wanted Milenkovic and Militao. What did he get? Absolutely no one. And it goes to show this board, we can't allow it anymore. We can't allow this board to get away with spending so low money. We can't allow them to get away with spending barely anything on this club. We can't allow them to get away with investing absolutely nothing into our manager. And I'm a bit sick of it, honestly. I'm absolutely sick of it because I honestly think if we were sat here right now talking about a new centre-half, the likes of Skriniar, right? Jose wanted Skriniar last summer and Steve Hitchen flew all the way to Milan just to bottle the deal. Jose wanted Skriniar last summer, yet our board, once again, our board didn't back him. Our board said, you know what, you're not going to get Skriniar, we're going to give you Joe Rodon. And I don't have an issue with Joe Rodon, but we could be sitting here right now we could be sitting here right now with Skriniar, and it's so frustrating. We got a comment here from Dave Carter, defo top 20. Seriously think we will get top 4. I mean, fair play to you, mate. I love your positivity if we can get top 4, even top 20. With the form we're on, top 20 is looking unachievable. But we move, I digress. And as I say, this season has just went to shit, really. And excuse my language, so excuse my French, but this season started off so positive. You know, we look so good. As I say, that 2-0 against City, we absolutely dominated them. That North London derby, that 2-0 win, which was so important to our form for the rest of the season. Even the Chelsea game as well, that 0-0, so important to our form. The Manchester United one, 6-1, right? 6-1 against a team that would go on to be top of the table, to be challenging for the league title. We absolutely thrashed them 6-1. Yet since then, it's individual errors and individual mistakes which have come to cost us points. And this all started off. Let me go through every single game that we've actually bottled this season. West Ham, 3-0 up. In the last 10 minutes, Sanchez scores an own goal. It's a brilliant header, but into the wrong net, Sanchez. Brilliant header, but into the wrong net. So from there, right? From there, we can see 2 goals, 2 silly goals due to defensive errors and individual mistakes, and we draw that game 3-0. The Newcastle one, Eric Dyer gives away a silly handball at the end. We draw that one 1-0. And since then, we were absolutely fantastic in the Premier League. We absolutely excelled. Yet, move on to Crystal Palace. We draw that game 1-0 out of absolutely nowhere. We were absolutely flying in the Premier League, you know, straight off the back of a massive North London derby win. And Hugo Lloris makes an individual error and costs us a goal, and we draw that one 1-0. And I thought, okay, it's all going to be all right, because straight after that, Liverpool drew 1-0 with Fulham, and that's a surprising result. So there is positives to take out of this, and we're definitely in the league title, right? Straight after that, we lose 2-1 to Liverpool. Really, really gutting, but we still believed at this point we were in a title race. And it was only till a couple of weeks ago that we actually stopped believing that we were in the title race, ever since that Liverpool 3-1 loss. But let's get back to the point here, right? Straight after this, we move on. We draw 1-0 with Wolves, a silly 1-0 draw. 2-0 loss to Leicester, right? That was just disgraceful. One of our worst performances all season, losing 2-0. And fair play to Leicester, because they were fantastic. And they're one of those teams that's come out this season, and their manager has been back with the players he wants. You know, Brendan Rodgers has been backed, and they've absolutely excelled. And that's the issue with this club. Our board expects us to do well. Our board expects us to challenge for the league title, when they're not going to back whoever's manager with the players he wants. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's logic that I understand. I reckon I could do a better job as owner of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club than Joe, Lewis and ENIC do. I really do. I really do. Because the job they're doing is absolutely woeful. And people who say ENIC in, their argument to keep ENIC in is, well, at least we're financially stable. No, we're not now, because we're in debt, aren't we? We're in 1.17 billion debt. And that's because of ENIC and the lack of investment into the team, and more investment in the stadium and business rights, right? They couldn't care less about what's going on the pitch. ENIC controllers couldn't care less about what's going on the pitch. They only care about money and a new business deal with the likes of Amazon or Google. And I'm absolutely sick of it. I'm sick of the lack of investment into this team, the lack of investment into this club, the lack of investment into this manager, actually backing the manager with the players he wants. Because Jose Mourinho, right? Jose wanted 2 new centre-halves in the January transfer window. He wanted Skriniar and Milenkovic. What did he get? Absolutely no one. He wanted Skriniar last summer transfer window. Steve Hitchen flies all the way to Milan before a deal's nowhere near to be completed, and bottles it. And we wonder why Inter Milan don't like doing business with us, because we keep lowering the price tag for silly, silly deals. We could have had Bruno Fernandes. We could have had Bruno Fernandes if our board paid 5 more million, right? 5 more million, and we could be sitting here right now talking about Bruno Fernandes. And I reckon if we were sitting here right now talking about Bruno, we'd be sitting here talking about Tottenham Hotspur, top of the league, and absolutely cruising through this season. But we're not. We're not, because our board couldn't be bothered to play 5 more million. It's 5 more million for Bruno Fernandes. They always go for the B-Tech option. They always go for the second best. We wanted Skriniar last summer, right? We wanted Skriniar. Yet once again, our board says to Jose Mourinho, no, you can't have him, but you can have Joe Rodon. And no discredit to Joe Rodon, because he's come in and he's done his job. And I like Joe Rodon. I think he's a future superstar. But you look at it from a standpoint as if we had Skriniar, you imagine Skriniar and Toby Alderweireld as our centre-back partnership. No one's breaking doing that. But once again, the issue is the lack of investment into this team from this board. Hence the fact I don't think we can get top 4 this season. And we've bowled all these games, the Wolves game, the West Ham game, the Newcastle game, the Palace game, the Leicester game. And those are all those games from last year. Oh no, it's gotten worse this year. That 1-0 to Brighton, 1-0 to Chelsea, 3-1 to Liverpool. Silly, silly, silly losses. Silly games that we just thrown away. 3-0 to Manchester City, 5-4 to Everton. And I'm sick of going through those results. I'm absolutely sick of it, right? 1 win in our last 5 games is not good enough. And the season is literally running away from us. And every single game that we lose, every single game that we fail to pick up all 3 points, the top 4 and the league title goes further and further and further away. There's no way whatsoever we're in the league title race. I'm not even saying that. But what I'm saying is the top 4 teams right now, right? Are we better than any of them? Are we better than Manchester City? No, because they beat us 3-0. Are we better than Liverpool, who are nearly in the top 4? No, because they beat us 3-1. Are we better than Leicester? No, because they beat us 2-0. Hang on a second. Are we better than West Ham? No, because they drew with us 3-1 and came back with 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. So we're not better than any of the teams in the top 4 whatsoever. Chelsea, we're not better than them either. Even Arsenal at this rate, we're not better than Arsenal. Right, we're not better than Arsenal right now. Arsenal are doing better than us because they've got a manager who has been backed in the January transfer window. They got Odegaard and a new backup goalkeeper, right? The 2 positions they wanted. They wanted a new backup keeper. They got him, Matthew Ryan. They wanted a central attacking midfielder. They got him, Real Madrid's Odegaard. Who did we get? Absolutely no one. And what deal did we actually make on deadline day? Oh, yeah, we loaned out Gazzaniga. What? What is the point in doing that? Like, really? It's just ridiculous. For example, right? Gazaniga is much, much better than Joe Hart. And we were told when we brought in Joe Hart that he was going to be our third keeper. Yet once again, right, our board lets us down. They don't back us with a great third keeper or a great backup keeper. They give us Joe Hart, who didn't work at Burnley. What makes you think if he didn't work at Burnley, it's going to work out at Tottenham Hotspur? And it's that weak mentality, which is the reason we are so low in this league table. It's that weak mentality which puts us in ninth position. It's that weak mentality why we are not in top four. Because these games that we've thrown away, we should have won. Earlier in the season, the Crystal Palace game, we were cruising through that. We should have won it. The Newcastle game, the West Ham game, the Leicester game, the Brighton game. I can go on and on and on all day. And that's the amount of games we've bottled from individual errors. Individual errors. Once again, coming back to bite us in the arse like they do every single game. And that's the issue, right? That's the reason I don't think we're going to get top four football, because there's no consistency whatsoever in this team. Davinson Sanchez, although we lost 5-4 last week, right? Although we lost 5-4 to Everton, he came out and he scored a brace. For a centre-half, he scored a brace and he did really, really well. Yet on the weekend against Manchester City, he falls flat on his face. Eric Dyer had a great game against Manchester City, I thought. Honestly, he didn't make any mistakes. He didn't cost us anything. He always had his man marked. You know, he wasn't ball watching throughout the game. It's what you expect from a defender. But when it comes to Eric Dyer, you don't expect anything but pittiness and sadness. But he actually came out and he did well. Yet in the Everton game and in the weekend before against Brighton, he cost us a goal. Ben Davies gets spun more time than a roundabout does on a daily basis on the main road. It's ridiculous. It's ball watching. Like, that's stuff you learn in your under fives coaching. That's stuff you learn as a baby. That's stuff you learn before you're even born. Oh, it's absolutely ridiculous. And the position we're in, the reason we're in this position is because of the lack of investment from this board, who haven't backed this manager with any of the players that he actually wants. Jose wanted 2 new centre-halves. He wanted a creative midfielder in the January transfer window. He wanted Sabitzer. And our board didn't even supply him with the second best. They supplied him with absolutely no one. Now, I get there's a worldwide pandemic going on, but you've got to look at it from a standpoint as, did Chelsea have a problem investing? No, Chelsea had no problem whatsoever investing. Did Aston Villa? No, even Liverpool, right? Liverpool come out on deadline day, and this is the issue, right? They have a scout and they have a manager and they have a board. And this is why I'm happy to sit here all day long and praise Liverpool, right? Because they have a board who basically says, right, Jurgen Klopp can go up to their board of directors and he can say, guys, I want these 2 players on deadline day, like he did this deadline day in the near future January transfer deadline day. You know, the one that happened a couple of weeks ago. He went, guys, I want these 2 players. I want Kabak and I want Jones. And not Jones. And I want Ben Davies. And what does the board do? They go, okay, here's the money. You know, fly their scout out. Their scout recruits both players, one from Germany, one from the Championship. And bang, they've made 2 signings, 2 new fantastic signings on deadline day, and they're sorted. They're sorted. And I get these players make mistakes. For example, Ozan Kabak made a massive mistake and cost them the game against Leicester. But that's not the point. The point is the investment and the lack of investment, which is the reason I don't think we can get top 4. And as well, everyone who's watching, get your comments in. I can see them. I can read all the ones out that you're actually putting in the chat. So thank you all for tuning in as well. But as I'm saying, it's a lack of investment every single season, every single year that comes to cost us. And it's happened again this season. And it's generally because these players, right? These players are good players, right? I'm happy to come out here and say Eric Dyer is a good enough player for the Championship. He's a good enough player for the Championship. And this is what my mate was telling me. One of my mates, you know, Tottenham fan, loves to be positive. He was saying, not Eric Lamela, he was saying, I can't remember who actually said now, but he was saying, who was it? Who was it actually? Oh yeah, Gareth Bale. He was saying Gareth Bale had a fantastic game against Wickham, but then he blew it on Thursday. And I said, and he goes, why did that happen? And I said, because he's Championship level, mate. Because he's Championship level, mate. And it makes me sick as well. Gareth Bale, he sat there on the bench and he's smiling. He sat there on the bench and he's happy and he's smiling. Do you not want game time? Do you not really? Like, where's the motivation in this team? There's none of it. There's no motivation whatsoever. There's no, we're going to go out here and we're gonna win the league title. We're going to have a winning mentality and we're going to do something this season. We're going to prove the doubters. We're going to prove the haters wrong. And we're going to go out there and we're going to do something this season. No, they don't actually. They bottle it every single season with individual errors. And as I say, thank you for tuning in to the live stream. If you want me to, I'll come back on here and do more of these because I enjoy doing live streams. It's time for me to actually interact with you guys. But I'm just sick of this board, honestly. I'm sick of the lack of investment. And, you know, what really frustrates me, if you didn't see my video earlier today talking about transfer updates, I also did another video earlier today giving you a Tottenham Hotspur update talking about Nagelsmann. Could he be coming in the summer? I won't discuss that too much on here. So if you want to hear more about that, go and check that video out. But as I'm saying, right, it just frustrates me because the lack of investment is what has kind of come to cost us the season. And it's not come to cost us the season because, for me, our main priority this season should be the Europa League. And I'll touch on that in a second. But it's come to cost us the Premier League. It has, because we started off this season with ambitions to get top 4. That went down after the first game to get a place in Europe. That 1-0 loss to Everton. I forgot that one, actually. That 1-0 loss to Everton. Pathetic. But as I'm saying, that 1-0 loss to Everton, and we go on from that, and then we win, and we win, and we win, and we win, and we pick up a great run of form, and we dominate the league. We absolutely dominate the league, and everyone's like, yes, Mourinho's back. His drought at Manchester United is gone. He's come back to Tottenham with a point to prove, and he's come back to this Tottenham team, and he's absolutely dominating. And he did. And that's why it goes to show it's not Mourinho. And something that I question as well, there was a comment right here that I'm actually going to read out now. There's a comment right here which I can see and read out. And someone's saying basically, Spurs 100, telling me, right, and you're saying in this comment that these same players who were actually backed, these same players who were not backed, these same players who were actually playing really, really well at the beginning of the season are now getting criticism where we are now. And the reason behind that, right, the reason we are getting criticism and these same players, because it's only fair if a player performs well, you criticise them when they don't. Højbjerg, I absolutely love Højbjerg, one of my favourite Tottenham Hotspur players. But when he has a bad game, you have to criticise him, you have to call him out. But the reason we don't call him out as much as the likes of Eric Dyer is because I know that Højbjerg's going to go home and he probably wants to rip off his door. He probably wants to rip off his door and stomp it on the ground because he'll be beating himself up about it. He'll be getting annoyed about it. He'll know how frustrating that is. Eric Dyer makes a mistake. He couldn't care less. He just goes, oh, man, it's frustrating, isn't it? We lost this game, but hey, guys, we played the Spursy way. We scored 4 goals today, and although we conceded 5 because I'm awful, we played the Spursy way. No! It's like all these players want Mourinho to give them a massive hug and goes, guys, although we lost today, we played the Spursy way. We played the Spursy way. We played all Spursy and attacking. No, you can't do that. You can't come out and say that because it's wrong. It's wrong. And people who criticise, and this is what frustrates me, right? People who want Jose Mourinho out. I'm Jose and I've been very, very vocal about that. Check out loads of my videos. You can see me on there basically giving my opinion and on other channels as well. Check out the Irish Hotspur and check out Charlie THFC right now, who is currently streaming. And I'm going to jump on there in a second. But as I'm saying, it just frustrates me because the issue with this board and the issue with this club is the lack of investment, which is going to come to cost us this season. The lack of investment into this team is what's going to cost us the league top. The lack of investment is what's going to cost us the top 4. The lack of investment is what's going to cost us a place in Europe, whether it's Europa League or Champions League. But I look at it from a standpoint as this season, winning the league wasn't achievable a few weeks ago. Getting top 4 for me, it's still achievable, but it's going to be one hell of a massive push. So for me, our best chance of getting Champions League football is winning that Europa League. And if Jose Mourinho wins that Europa League, for all I care, he can go. If Jose Mourinho wins that Europa League, he can leave Tottenham Hotspur because he's come here, he's done his job. And the reason the Europa League is so prestigious and so important is because, one, it's the second biggest trophy. It's ranked the second biggest worldwide trophy in football. So you win it, bang, he's actually bought a massive trophy for Tottenham Hotspur. Not a Carabao Cup in 20 years. He's bought us a massive trophy back to Tottenham Hotspur. Yet, the issue is, when you don't win the Europa League, then we have to make a push for that top 4. And I don't think we can make a push for that top 4. So for me, check out my Wolfsburger preview, which will be coming out tomorrow if you want to check that out. But as I'm saying, I'll talk more on that tomorrow, as I say. But Wolfsburger, for me, we need to play our best team possible against Wolfsburger. And we need to rest, basically, our top players in the West Ham game because we need to focus on Wolfsburger. We need to focus on the Europa League. Because if we want top 4, if we want a trophy, that's probably our best chance. I know some people will say we're in the Carabao Cup final. Yes, it's a one-off game, but we're playing Manchester City in that. I still believe we can get something out of this game because it's a one-off game. It's a cup final. Form goes out the window for cup finals. We've seen it many, many times on many, many occasions in the past. But as I say, that's a whole nother trophy. And I think we can make a push for that and win that final and get that trophy. But if Jose Mourinho wins the Carabao Cup, is that enough for me? No. Not the Carabao Cup. No way is the Carabao Cup enough for me to say Jose Mourinho, he deserves to stay at the club. And I still think Jose does deserve to stay at the club. But if we win that Carabao Cup, nothing gets forgotten about. If we win that Europa League, everything that's happened this season gets forgotten about. And we can put this season down as Jose Mourinho, he came in, he done his job. He won us that trophy that we've been waiting so long for as Tottenham Hotspur fans. And he can leave for all I care. Because he's come here and he's done his job basically, hasn't he? He's come here and he's won off that trophy. He's won us that trophy that he promised us. And for all I care, it's a bit like LeBron James when he came to Cleveland. He came back and promised them a trophy. He went there, he gave them a trophy, and he left to go to play for the LA Lakers. It's a bit like that. Tom Brady, basically promises he'll bring one more trophy to the New England Patriots, one more Super Bowl, and then he'll leave. He bought that one more Super Bowl, and now he's playing for the Buccaneers. It's the same thing all the time. For example, NXT as well. I'm talking about WWE, loads of different sports. Basically, Shinsuke Nakamura says, I'm going to take the NXT title, and then I'm going to move up to the main roster. He takes that NXT title, he loses it, and he goes up to the main roster. The point I'm trying to make and the point I'm trying to get at is if Jose Mourinho wins us a trophy, that's all he needs to do. If he wins us a trophy, he can leave because he's come here and he's done his job, and all that defensive football, all the criticism that defensive football's goes out the window because he's won us a trophy. And this is what I get frustrated about as well. People who criticise Jose Mourinho basically, right, and want him sacked. Their main argument is because they want trophies. I find it really, really hypocritical how you want trophies, yet you want to sack the most decorated manager in the history of the sport. What? How does that make sense? Really, please, someone explain to me, tell me. That does not make sense. No sense whatsoever I can make out of that. But as I say, top 4 for me, it's still achievable. I still think we can get top 4 this season. I think it's not out of the races. I don't think it's impossible. I still think we can chase it down. But man, do we need to put in a lot of work. And man, do we need to have the right mentality if we want to get top 4 this season. And I find it a massive struggle. If we would have bought in a new centre-half in the January transfer window, I think we could. But we're stuck with these players. Jose Mourinho is stuck with this selection of players until the end of the season. Whatever 2 ways you want to go about it, you've either got basically Toby Alderweireld as our centre-half, but you've either got Eric Dyer or Davinson Sanchez next to him, who always make mistakes, whether it's one or the other. Dumb and dumber, basically. But that rhymes, actually. But as I'm saying, there's a major issue with this club, and it's those 2 centre-halves. They're the main reason we are where we are now. It's 2 individual players, 2 actual individual players who are the reason where we are now. And Ben Davies as well. He gets spun like a roundabout. Gets spun more than the M15 roundabout, man. He gets spun every single game. And massive credit to Charlie THFC because he gave me this stat actually when I was on the Irish Hotspur stream a couple of days ago. On the Manchester City stream, he said Ben Davies got spun 6 times. 6 times by Raheem Sterling. And all you have to do is stay with him. It's beyond me, actually. I get Raheem Sterling's a pacey guy, but all you have to do is stay with him. So for me, I would definitely take the Europa League. For me, the best season possible we can get right now is a place in Europe. Whether it's Europa League football or Champions League football, just get top 7 this season. Try and get the Carabao Cup final. I think that should be a massive priority. But our main priority this season is we need to make a massive push for that Europa League. Because if we get top 4, cool, we got top 4 again. Don't make any difference. If we get Europa League football, right, not if we get Europa League football. If we win the Europa League, 1, we're in the Champions League, and 2, we've won a massive, massive trophy. So comment down below what your opinions are. Comment down below if you think top 4 is actually achievable this season. So for me, it can be achievable. But I look at it from a standpoint as Jose Mourinho is stuck with a selection of players he's got right now. We can't change them because he didn't get invested in by our board in the January transfer window. So we can't change the players we got right now. So we're stuck with these group of players basically who simply aren't good enough. So for me, I don't think we can get top 4, but just really, really hope we can get something out of this season. Nevertheless, this has been the stream, guys. We've got loads and loads of people watching right now. So thank you for tuning in. And as always, come on, you Lily Whites.